Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new Let's Play on EU4. You guys picked it. Pretty much extensively all... It was the only thing you voted for. We're playing the fucking Third Odyssey, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the Motherland. The link to the mod will be in the description this time. I apologize for my U4 series. I just completely forgot for... Well, my Byzantine Ambition series. Forget that. Now this Let's Play is going to be called Beaten, Not Broken. But not broken, sorry. Beaten, but not broken. And that's basically a sense of... it's just alluding to our... leaving of the east, sorry, the west, yeah, the east to the west. So let's get straight into it. Now we're going to be playing this pretty much exclusively on free speed for a majority of the beginning. I'm not playing methodically as much, so, but I'm going to be playing more seriously than I am in most of my Let's Plays, because this is a very story-driven Let's Play, as is the Third Odyssey, a very, very story-driven mod. So let's go. We're going to read through all of this. I have most of my decisions already in my head that I'm going to make. There's a few things that will be different. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are interested in watching older versions of this mod, I do have a Let's Play of one of the Viking nations, Spartania, and then 2 Illyrian Let's Plays. They will be in. If you just go to my channel and you scroll back a year or two, they're basically there. It's not that. I'll probably do about 30, probably 20 to 30 Let's Plays a year, if that. You'll find it. Anyway, let's do this. So read this. Welcome to the Third Odyssey. The Emperor of Rome looks upon his realm and despairs. To the east lies the land of the hostile Turks, successors to the Arabs that battered Anatolia in times long past. To the west lie the Serbs and Hungarians, eager to carve up the pieces of a dying empire and expand their own dominion. The Varna Crusades have been butchered. The legions of Rome once conquered the known world, but have long gone. But that was long ago, sorry. A lesser man might quail at these truths, but Ionis and his brother Constantinos are not lesser men. While delving into the depths of the Imperial Library for anything that might deliver them from the destruction, the brothers locate a hidden cache of information left behind by the exalted former emperor Alexios Komnenos. The cache contains detailed schematics of drones and galleys retrofitted for the deep-sea capabilities of the Varangian longships, and was intended for a trading expedition to the Varangian Vinland that never materialized. With them, the 2 brothers were able to scheme up a plan to hastily refit the remnants of the Imperial Navy to these designs, reinforced with modern construction techniques, and flee the west in a new Odyssey, just as Aeneas had fled Troy 5,000 years ago. The other 3 brothers will have to stay behind. Basilio Romano gets Roman flood until the end of the game, giving the following effects: +6% unrest, -50% morale, -100% of fort maintenance. You can just read it, and release Athens has been one of Vandals. So this has changed, because normal they're actually used when they're... So basically, I'm going to just compare some of the things that used to be a thing in this mod. There was basically you get loads of decisions, and releasing Athens was actually one of the decisions. But let's go on, because we're not going to get declared war on. Greek fire. Hidden in a cache separate from the one detailing how to construct truly ocean-worthy vessels rest a number of manuscripts detailing the construction of Siphons and the long-lost formula for Greek fire, the weapon that saved the Roman Empire on multiple occasions. We could order our alchemists to resume the production of the liquid fire and order our smiths to construct siphons we can fit on our naval vessels, but every person working on this is one less person aiding in retrofitting our fleet into ocean-going designs. To be fair, I'm going to be taking Greek fire. Of course we'll deliver the resources. Now, I'm going to say this now, ladies and gentlemen, you do want Greek fire if you want a good navy. Because the way, I don't know how much it's changed, but essentially Greek fire, I'm not going to spoil anything if you guys are watching this for the first time. Greek fire is fucking good. That's the best I can say. Library of Knowledge. We should consider taking copies of our ancient knowledge of us on our travels. They would benefit us greatly and serve to preserve our knowledge and technological progress. Then again, we don't have an infinite amount of space and supplies for settlers. And again, ladies and gentlemen, basically the way I'm going to do this is the way that you do it if you are wanting a good mid to late game. Early game might be a little bit harder, but you'll never know. Knowledge is power. I like power. The Silk of Constantinople. Long ago, emissaries brought us gifts from the faraway lands, including the means to produce silk. We have preserved and protected our monopoly on European silk production ever since. We could consider this taking the secret with us and destroying what's left. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want, right, you can't not take this. Trust me. Just trust me. Like, this doesn't really, like, oh yeah, extra troops, but trust me, I promise you, this, if nothing else, the secret will die with us is much better. The Genoese merchants. We should get the most of our position while we still can. There are 2 proposals prepared for the Doge of Genoa. Both offer Genoa ships free passage through the Bosphorus for as long as the current emperor is in power. We can either ask them for a full payment in gold or some of their fine ships, needed to secure the sea routes, of course. Now, money is good, and ships are good. But we're gonna say we'll need their ships, because out of these 2, their ships should be better at the moment. We might go into a little bit of debt, but who cares? Also, we don't need... While I'm here, last time I checked, it shouldn't be a problem getting rid of your army. Venice desires the Peloponnese. We have long known that the Venetians want to expand their holdings in the Aegean. We should consider offering them control of the Peloponnese for a set time, 20 years in return for a portion of their navy and a one-time payment. This might upset our people, and the lords of Athens would feel their positions compromised on many flanks, but the deal would be truly worth it. It would be truly worth it. God knows we need it. Don't worry about stability, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to be a problem. Athenian nobles worried. The nobles of Athens are worried about the recent decision. They demand compensation of their own in their own form of gold or land or gold. Should we pay them? Unfortunately, we do have to pay them. And our navy is now over here, so I'm just going to quickly put it in dock for now. And then I'm going to... Granada demands toll. The ruler of Granada heard of our great expedition approaching and joined up with the Moroccans to intercept and demand toll. The fleet is still smaller than ours, but we have losses in a normal fight with Greek fire. This would be an easy fight without losses. It hasn't been seen in a long time. What should we do? Our Greek fire will make quick work of them. So right now we're about here. So like our expedition, we have already set off, and we're about here now. The Portuguese wish to strike a deal. 2 Portuguese ships sail near our fleet today with an envoy. Their leader states that one of their ships and accompanying supplies can be used by us on our travels if we agree to share our discoveries with them. They are under the impression we are heading south to explore the coast of Africa. One of our advisors suggests that we use this opportunity to trick the nations of Europe, making them believe we were caught up in a series of increasingly treacherous storms filled with sea monsters, and that our last act was to inform them. That way, it might take some generations before their curiosity returns. Alternatively, we could inform the Portuguese of our true intentions, providing them with a potential future ally in Europe. A good catch. Send them the fraudulent message. Trust me, in the long run, this is actually better. Because we still get their supplies, and in the future, they're more than likely still going to like us. At least that's what it used to be like, and personally, that's what I prefer. It has been many weeks of good sailing. We were smart to take far more supplies than required. A storm approaches now, though, and it looks like we'll get caught in whatever we do. After this long struggle, we pressed through it. However, they took one of our treasure ships. A great catastrophe occurred. After surviving the Great Storm, a number of crew throughout the fleet became stricken with severe tuberculosis. I'm not going to try. I would say that, but I really don't want to say it wrong. Despite the best efforts of our greatest physicians, Emperor Ioannis VIII also fell victim to the disease. While some say it is just an unfortunate tragedy, others say it is divine punishment for fleeing Constantinople in its darkest hour. Regardless, Ioannis VIII's son, Constantinos, has been crowned emperor and will finish what his father started. The Pantheon Worship. The storms lie a few days behind us now, leaving many at the edge of despair. A cleric asked to see you, and you invited him into your quarters. He's a very charismatic man, capable of inspiring men in the face of death, and he has served as well in the armies fighting against the Ottomans. So it seems strange that he of all men would suggest such a thing, returning to worship the old gods, the Roman and the Hellenic gods. He says he studied our history and noticed a downtrend ever since the first emperor converted to Christianity. He states that despite being the servant of God, he did not help defend Jerusalem or Constantinople from its Muslims, and the recent storm can only illustrate the temper of Poseidon. If there are gods, he continued, they must be as flawed, as ill-tempered as the old Hellenic gods. We would do best to appease them rather than speak to a god that may listen but seems to not care. And ladies and gentlemen, in the last Let's Play I did of this, I actually didn't. I stayed Orthodox. You're making a compelling argument. We are now Orthodox, which means we get a deity, but we're not going to select deities just yet. The settlement. Yeah, soon enough, we're going to get the settlement. Some of our, I think it's about here, some of our ships went ahead and founded a preliminary camp. The main fleet will arrive to Lundkarga later. All things considered, this expedition couldn't have gone much better. We're lucky to have found land, and with enough supplies to last a year. There's work to be done. The Empire of Alesia. See, I was actually fucking right as well. Despite everything, despite all the hardships, toil, battles, storms, and plagues, we have succeeded. We have successfully arrived in the Varangian's western land. Truly, such a verdant beyond a land beyond the pillars of Hercules can only be the Elysian Forum from ancient myth. It is only now, however, that the cost becomes apparent. Every scrap of technology, every single book from the Imperial Library, every scroll detailing schematics or architecture or mathematics is one less bustle of wheat or one less person we could have taken. On top of that, the Ottoman Turks have already invaded what's left of our home the minute we stripped the garrison and set sail. What's done is done. Our new home. With the help of our oracles, we have been able to read the signs given by the gods through flocks of birds. Even before arriving in these new lands, the gods have sent us these signs and instruct us to name our nation thus. Let us celebrate with wine and cheese. Geese, sorry. Elysia, it is decided. Forgotten homelands. We are no longer aware of what goes on in our ancient homeland. Now oblivious to the old world, we can truly focus on the new world ahead of us. Will we ever return? Imperial cult. With the recent conversion of the Elysians to Hellenism, the time has come for the Emperor to choose his patron deity, proving to the people that his rule is legitimate in the eyes of the gods. Now, right now, these all offer very good things, I will admit. Like, personally, I actually like all. I don't think there's one of these I don't like. But early on, Poseidon is actually your legitimate best choice. So we're going to go for Poseidon. Eager explorers. The lands we've discovered still remain mostly unknown, but that did not stop our explorers, who, without much trouble, explored the areas around our capital. Right. So we do have a colonist, but we need to set our native policy. Now, I set my native policy as native coexistence normally, but I'm going to actually be doing native trading policy this time. Sorry, no, I normally do native trading policy, so I was right, sorry. Now, out of these two, whichever you select gets bigger first. And it gets bigger. So we're going to actually do this one, and we're going to send colonists. Now, I haven't colonized since the new update, so I don't know what's changed. But whenever we colonize, ladies and gentlemen, I should say, we discover the provinces around it. New World crop. As we explore Elysia, we notice several unknown plants and crops that seem native to this new world. One of these newly found crops that we deem to call maize seems to be being cultivated by the natives of the region in the most interesting way alongside beans and squash. It's in a technique called the Three Sisters. We've started to make progress in not only trading for this new plant, but also adapting the natives' planting techniques as our own. We need as much food as we can get. Price of maize changes by plus 20% until the 23rd of February 1447. Our capital does, of course, produce maize, as you'd expect. Now, we're going to get a lot of colonists straight away. Local natives appreciate our pantheon. Now, this is one of these. This event could go two ways, ladies and gentlemen. This event will pop up every so often. If you remained orthodox, it's actually a bad thing. Like, they'll hate you more than like you. So basically, the fact that we have a pantheon of gods, we seem more normal to them. But the Romans were known to tolerate other religious pantheons and even incorporate them into their own. Worship of the Gaelic or especially Egyptian gods by true Romans was not at all that uncommon. This makes it easy for us to accept and share knowledge of the gods. The natives seem to appreciate our beliefs and recognize some of their own gods, spirits, and heroes in different shapes. That is good. Now, I do feel sorry for these guys because they're going to get the shit kicked out of them, but at least they like us. Anyway, salvaging the fleet. Upon unloading the last of the cargo from the remaining ships, our sailors realized that our fleet has taken much more damage in the storm than we had originally thought, and it is in urgent need of repair. There is a debate occurring among the people on the unfulfilledness of repairing the fleet at all. Usefulness, sorry. As it will be inexpensive to repair and maintain. The alternative is that we break down the ships for wood, which we can then use to help build the local infrastructure, such as roads, our hands housing, or for building a basic wooden palisade around the settlement to help protect us from native incursion. Now, I normally like to do the break down the ship and build fortifications, but I'm actually going to break down the ships and improve the local infrastructure for a change, because any way you can improve Alicia now, we need to do. Like, we didn't do it in the homeworld, we need to do it now. It's just that's unfortunately how it works. We do need to increase our stability. Rivals, I'm not actually going to select any rivals yet because there is an event here, deal with these guys, where we can acquire the territory. We need to have 120 gold, which currently we have. So, you know, if we're lucky and this colony gets done quickly, we can then have that, buy that straight away, and they'll fuck off somewhere else, but we'll have it, which is what's important. But yeah, Hellenic is purple on the map, I believe. Yeah, purple. Looks nice as well, actually. But so far, everything's going exactly as we should plan. Oh, I haven't actually seen the missions, I don't think. I don't actually remember seeing these missions. These are blue. Ooh. I am actually very interested in these. Let's not touch them, though, because I'm actually... We can read, though, our top missions currently. Let's read the top missions. So, expand our lands. The lands around Elysia are vast, wealthy, and hardly used by the native inhabitants. Let us repel the natives and send in our colonists in their stead. So that's expand our lands. Establish militia. It is imperative that we establish a military force capable of defending our settlement as soon as possible. The merchant class. We have long been without merchants to trade with the natives. We can only solve this problem if we encourage entrepreneurs to establish themselves as merchants. It'll take a lot of effort, and the country must be ready for it, but it will pay off in the long run. High income. We must increase state income by any means necessary. Money is a requirement for any good endeavour of the state, from the daily expense of the government to the maintenance of our armies to invade the enemies and the Elysian homelands. Our nation would greatly benefit from securing a good amount of land around our capital. Doing this would form a strong, solid homeland providing all the resources and troops for further expansion. That means it basically wants the bay you're in, which is the bay of which is called Elysia. I don't think edicts have been changed in this so far, but I could be wrong. Now let's just continue on for a while. I do apologise for pausing for so long, but I wanted to get those read out. Government, this, hope it might be different. Oh, sweet. We get to move up to those. Let's worry about those later when they're actually, you know, useful to us. Now, right now, our guys should like us a little bit. Of course, they're not going to be very happy because they'll want our land, and you know they'll probably want to kill. They'll probably kill us for it happily. But yeah, we know all the great powers are going to be because it's the usual 1444 timeline. Ooh, I'm actually looking forward to building a flagship under these guys. We've got exploit development. I think I've only used that once. Ooh, we got tobacco. That's actually a very good starter product to produce. Nurse colony obviously will take a max 2 years. That's the most it'll ever take. If we're lucky, I think this 14.4% will give us a full 540 every month. I've never really understood the new settlers button, so the luck. So I guess we'll have to wait and see, won't we? But I would get rid of my military, but that would just invite attack. Poseidon is our current god, which is why we're getting 540 instead of 520. Which is the reason I actually recommended getting him straight away. He's not the most useful in the long term, but in the first 100 or so years, he's actually quite nice. Yeah, so we've got Constantinus the 11th, Palaiologos. I don't know if the Palaiologos will survive. I don't think they've ever survived a Let's Play of this game for me. I think I've lost them all the way through. Like, I've always lost them at least halfway through. So if we do lose him, an Elysian noble will stand up and take the place instead, throne instead. Because we brought nobles with us, so it's not a problem. So I'm going to make this part, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make this part 25 minutes because it is the first part of a new series, so and I'm very kind. We are also massively better tech than them. They are, but they will. This won't be all. It won't always be a thing. So we need to make. We need to like recognize that. Now every colony we make to begin with, ladies and gentlemen, is going to slowly become smaller and smaller. Because we have a thing called eager settlers. Eager settlers drops as you colonize each land. And it only stays around in eager settlers leaves once you get colonized. So 1, 2, 4 provinces overall. Once you've colonized 4, it goes, as far as I remember. Because there are certain provinces you're meant to colonize, and it is now here. It's this mission here. This is the what you're meant to colonize. That then leads to this, which is a true nation. And once you get all of these done, these 3 done, you get the true nation. The true nation is obviously when you finally basically pick back up. These used to just be missions here or national decisions, so it's good to see the missions behind them instead. It's just nice to know, and also this gives gives me an different goals to achieve, which is nice. Something we didn't obviously have in the original Let's Plays. Now I'm gonna say 2 months is it? Probably maybe wait. So we're getting like 26 every month. Am I right? 26? Well, it doesn't matter. He's done. So anyway, we're gonna go get now to go after the first couple of provinces we get this event homeland settled. With the neighbouring province of Odessos settled, it is time to encourage settlers to move there. While this may weaken our capital for a short period of time, it will certainly help with development of the newly acquired province. So essentially, Elysia gets immigration, but we get 5 extra pips here, which makes it good province, makes it a 10. The Elysian homeland. Now that we have founded our new capital, it is time to expand our influence to the lands that surround it. This will provide a buffer zone that any enemies must first pass through. We also hope to one day benefit from what may become the cultural and economic center of our empire. And we then get an instant core on it, so we don't have to, do any claiming or anything, or any coring. Which essentially means we can actually max out our income. If we, max out our stability. Which I'm actually going to do, because right now we're actually, because we're exiled, it's going to cost us a little bit more. And having stability makes us a better, and courage divination. Right now, we're not really needing that. I'm going to leave it up there just because for now. I didn't send my colonists. Whoops. Organize the masses. We have now established a basic settlement. It isn't pretty or that large, but it is not home now. We have established a basic militia for defending the town, set aside some land for farming, and cleared a local forest for wood. The overseers that run these projects are requesting more workers. However, there are not enough for all of them. Where should we send the peasants? So, as I know very well, we need to focus on cutting down the trees. Production is going to do us so much better later on. And it's the reason I've got it. Now, all we need now is have a relation of 100 with these guys, and we can buy their province from them. Which is what I'm going to do. So we're going to improve relations, and we're going to buy the province from them. And of course, now we're going to be losing money because we are colonizing, but it's not a problem. Oh no, these guys are still 5-4, so they must have changed how the eager settlers worked. Doesn't matter. There is a very special idea that a group that we only get, which is very, very good actually. I do like it. Of course, I'll show you when we get to Tech 5, which may take a little bit longer because I'm going to try and keep my stability high just to make my life a little bit easier. But I am very much looking forward to this, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. To be honest, ladies and gentlemen, I was actually going to record. I was going to go with this, but I thought I'll give you guys the choice. You never know. You might not want to see my 5th Third Odyssey Let's Play, but I mean, the last one was in the latter, like, was in October of 2017, so it's been nearly, just well over a year. So I thought it was about time we brought it back, but I'm glad you guys chose it. I'm glad you guys hopefully will enjoy it. You never know. Now, let's try and improve our relations with these guys quickly. So we'll ask for military. Now that it's offer military access that makes them like us more. Militia matters. The commander of the city guard has received numerous reports of native raids directed at the peasants who work the wheat fields outside the defences of New Constantinople. The obvious solution is to send more men to patrol these areas. However, the guard is spread thin as it is, and this would leave the city severely undermanned. The militia are rather basic right now, made up of retired soldiers and part-time farmers. But with a little time and training, they could become a significant force in their own right. And as much as I would like to do both, it's production. Send more guards to patrol the farmland and housing outside of the city walls. Tax is all well and good, ladies and gentlemen, but the second this does what the second it becomes what I know it's going to become, nothing else is going to matter. Oh, so if we can get 5 cities, ladies and gentlemen, so if we can get these 2, we can then buy it out for cheaper. But to be fair, I'd rather just buy it out straight away because it's an extra province to then help us to begin with. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have to unfortunately end this part here. I hope you guys have enjoyed the first part of the Third Odyssey, beaten but not broken. And I hope you guys will obviously just continue to follow along, and I'll see you guys in the next part. See you guys then.